Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745 here with my continuing playthrough of Hearts of Iron 4 Man the Guns DLC, and we're playing a naval focus campaign, at least, though of course we're still having a lot of ground troops as Britain. So we're going to continue this. We're playing it slowly because I like to micromanage, and it also gives us time to react to things ourselves. Okay, well, we lost a swordfish, took out a convoy. Reasonable trade, I guess. Our main offensive campaign is down here in Ethiopia. Okay, oh, Wild Ace appears. And let's see. Okay, we're actually adding fuel. Good. So we're going after some Germans. Germans are coming after us. You know, quite honestly, here I've come to sort of hate this flag in Hearts of Iron, because especially when you see it small, I keep mistaking it for the Norwegian flag. I wish they would just have, you know, the Balkenkreuz flag or something like that, like the old black ice or whatever. Just confusing at the small scale. I keep thinking Norway. French are doing good against the Italians up there in North Africa. Okay, you guys now secure that air base. We're pressing on them from multiple directions there. Good. Waiting for the invasion of Belgium to come. It looks like we could maybe use some more fighters over the channel, so I'll pause. Okay, yeah, we could make them our remaining hurricanes. Okay, Germany's moved its aircraft up here and is going after our shipping with it. Hopefully, once that squadron gets deployed, we'll do better. Okay, it's now up over the English Channel. Very good. It'll change the odds, not necessarily mean we'll win everything, but it'll definitely be... Nope, they're trying to push into France right through Metz. Okay. No. Okay, well, you move up to here. You attack Addis Ababa. You've stalled out. You move into Gondor. Sounds like we're playing Lord of the Rings. Okay, here we go. First one to happen in this playthrough here. We have exiled division escaped from Poland and arrived in Greater London area. Now, historically, you know, and as mentioned yesterday, I'm sorry, I forget who, do the aircraft, oh sorry, reading, do the aircraft in Calais have orders? No. And they maybe should. Sorry, I'll get to the bit. I'm a little distracted. They're really meant to sort of be saved for operations here, but yeah, coming up over here for the moment would be useful. So we'll put them up over the English Channel. Okay, so fight to see who's worse. It should be. Well, it's yeah. We'll see about getting them up over once Belgium declares war, or once Belgium's in the war properly. Okay, back to the history. As mentioned yesterday, and again, I sorry, can't credit who right offhand. A lot of Poles escaped from Poland, many through Romania. I think a bit through Hungary too. The Hungarians were at war with Poland, but they didn't want a lot of Poles hanging out in them. And at that point, Romania was still trying to be very much allies with France. France was having none of it because France knew it wasn't going to be able to fight the Soviet Union, let alone Soviet Union and Germany. So, and they basically formed two divisions of Poles in France. One of them gets evacuated to Britain during the collapsing of France. They were not part of, if I remember correctly, any of the Dunkirk evacuations. They're some of the later stuff that comes off here. The other Polish division was somewhere more in this area. So it fights its way out and retreats to Switzerland and gets interned for the duration of the war. So yeah, I know I'm waiting until the first, and then we'll use the slot. Drunken Barbarian. So that's what happened historically. So two divisions worth of men, no real equipment, make it out. Now, and they get to France, because France, maybe emotionally and some diplomatically and whatever, Britain was sort of the head of the alliance, the allies at the time, because France wouldn't do anything without Britain's support. But in a sort of pre-invasion of France, France had the biggest army. France was thought to be the superpower, and obviously it was the main ground power. So most of the exile forces went there, and that's what was confronting the Germans. But since with the game mechanics, since we're the leader of the allies, we get the unit. So this unit shows up here, fairly well manned, but this is actually what the AI whatever and sort of equipment, and maybe part of the element. I'm not sure whether this comes from specifically from the equipment we get when Poland collapses, or other equipment, but it shows up with some equipment. Notice it's not full of anything. It's about 10% strength, and I don't know what its manpower was when it, well, this probably hasn't had a chance to fully get up there. So it's getting a bunch of Polish manpower. So we're going to have to equip it to make it anything. So we have this. I think we can't. Nope, we can't. It's locked. Okay. It's locked. So we can't change its order of battle. So it's locked into this, which I actually sort of like, quite honestly. So that lets me as a modder to create, say, a regiment, a battalion, whatever, whether it exiles or other things. Hello, Victor. What other resources would I like to add to the game? Well, I don't know. Coal could be interesting. The coal mechanic in Hearts of Iron 3 at its core was meant to limit the number of ICs. This game uses the state mechanic and how many of these slots are available in each state to limit the number of ICs of various types. Or other, buildable slot items. There's definitely talk of adding more ICs. I'm going to leave it at that. I think they got some of the main ones, and there may be more resources coming someday in the future. Just a maybe. I don't know. But we'll leave it at that. Now, oh, spies. You know, and I'll get on this too. Again, and I know I said it. Honestly, I like Vicky 2 level of resources, but maybe I'm... Well, okay, I'll address that dozed first. And here I agree with them, and this is sort of like adding coal could be cool, could not be cool, you know. What they're trying to do with this game is deal with, oh, here, like wood. Like, let's say if we added wood. Wood was a critical resource in World War II. You built Mosquito aircraft with it. Rifles required it. We see that Japan doesn't have a native hardwood. So its rifle wood is crap. So much so that they have to, all of their rifles, even their well-made pre-Big Pacific War rifles, you know, they're mucking around in China a bit, but the Type 99, I'm thinking, even the good ones, like the one I have, has to be two pieces of wood glued together, because if they just make the stock out of one piece of wood, it tends to crack too much. So it's to try to get the wood sort of right for the stock, they have to literally glue two pieces of wood together and then carve the stock out of them that are glued together. So you see a line sort of behind the trigger guard going back out the stock. So wood is a critical resource in World War II. And it's also not just a fuel resource burning, but it's a fuel resource in automobiles too. They use wood-powered automobiles. So you have something like that. But is it a critical resource that we can strangle? Okay, really. And so like I just did, Japan has sucky wood. I know Finland, because it has a lot of little crappy trees, has a lot of wood, but it's not big chunks of, you know, big beams, a lot of it. But I think there is some of that, but it has a lot of small trees. So they cut down a lot of those small trees and burn them in automobiles to in a sort of a furnace thing to create a gas that's fed into the petrol engine that moves the petrol engine through gas powered. Large amounts of Finnish commercial vehicles are converted to wood burning, as well as a lot of German and a lot of British and presumably other nations too. So it's a resource, and I can argue for it. But really, is it something that they made serious decisions over? Okay, food, yes, they made very serious decisions over it. The problem with food is civilians and, if you will, war crimes and other things, and you can see where I'm circling, happening during the war related to food that really can make it a touchy subject. Uniforms, yeah. Well, ammunition is back to just supplies, and uniforms could be supplies. Morale's in the game, so I don't know what you're talking about there. We have war support, national stability, which isn't really morale, and we have morale of the units. So yeah, morale's in the game. So, well, I'm going to get back to the spies thing. And it's still something that sort of burns me to this day a little bit. And I see it in talking about in other games, and it's probably more real in some of the other games. But is you cut this to then add it back in a DLC from what was in Hearts of Iron 3 to Hearts of Iron 4. And it still burns me up to this day when I remember about people going on about this. Everybody, this is a completely new game. They had to start, I know it's built on a version, it's a different version. It's built on the version of the Clausewitz engine, but they had to start everything over from scratch. And they couldn't just take the spies mechanic for Hearts of Iron 3 and plunk it down in Hearts of Iron 4. They couldn't do that. Now, what they could have done is go, well, we're going to build something that works just, more or less like Hearts of Iron 3, put it in Hearts of Iron 4. They could have done that, but that would have taken time, meaning somebody sitting there. So it would have made an extra cost. So they didn't decide not to put it in the game. It's just, and as the sort of the story behind all of this is that they announced the game way too early. They've now changed their policy on when they announce games because of Hearts of Iron 3. It took so long to get the game out, and all of that is very true, but that does sort of inform us that they didn't have somebody sitting there trying to program in the Hearts of Iron 3 spy system. But some of the public comments of Podcat is he wants to do a really cool spy system, not like what's in Hearts of Iron 3. So instead of just trying to replicate, and they may have been able to use some of the code. I'm not a coder. I don't know what their code internally is for the spy mechanics, but they would have had to do some work, whether that's a little or a lot, to port the Hearts of Iron 3 system to the Hearts of Iron 4. So they decided to leave it out entirely, to someday in some DLC come in and do a really good spy system. I don't know what it's going to look like. I have nothing more than some public statements from Podcat that, yeah, there's a lot of things I want to do with that. And seeing what he's done here and his team with like landmines and now escorting naval vessels and many of these other things, we can see that they're going to try to come up with something really good for spies when they get there. And I don't know when that's going to be, whether that's going to be in the next DLC or in 3 years from now. I have no idea on that. And so it's just something that's going to happen. And that's, again, my diatribe on this. Let me see. I would like to see amphibious assault vessels, not just cargo ships like LSTs and such. Okay, I guess I meant something to the effect, if you can use your divisions endlessly for years as long as they have kit and organization, but you really need to pull them away for rest and replenishment. Okay, yeah, rest and replenishment. Trying to think. That was handled differently by different nations in the war. The Soviets mostly exhausted their units and then just broke them up, if I remember correctly, or many of their units. The Germans definitely did that for some of their divisions. Yeah, the long war situation. I get you get where you're coming from. Okay, and LSTs and such. JP. Obviously, we know how it works in Hearts of Iron 3. Okay, here's some of the problems. They have problems with the AI moving, and so this is part of why things don't necessarily work so well. Ooh, we took some heavy losses, but we took out 11 of their convoys and a destroyer for some stuff there. They have problems with getting the AI to get transport vessels to ports. Okay, one French sub and one of our swordfish, I presume, for 3 destroyers. That's worth it. And the French may not like that. No, I wanted to click on that. There we go. Okay, we took out a transport. They have real problems in Hearts of Iron 3 and trying to get that combination to work. So we don't see as many naval invasions as they could. What they've done, they think they've done really well, and I think more or less they have, is by having invasion vessels abstracted, meaning I don't have to, if Germany is going to do a naval invasion in the Mediterranean, it doesn't have to either control a port to plunk down naval vessels or have an event that or not naval, transport vessels, or plunk down a by an event, plunk down transport vessels, or somehow negotiate, you know, around here German vessels. And since we do know, yeah, combination of captured, converted, and other stuff, Germans used various ferries and barges or whatnot, try to, you know, invade Crete. But we also know that whether it's in naval invasions or just transport, Italy was doing most of the transporting in the Mediterranean for the Germans to North Africa. So by abstracting it so that theoretically, if Germany just has 10 transports left and it's going to use them for naval invasion, they can magically appear in the Mediterranean. I agree. To do it, I think this new system works best, knowing the AI limitations. Now, so assault barges would be cool, yeah. And so having them on the map, you know, having them like we have all these other vessels on the map, whether it's you see the ships sailing around or not, is sort of beside the point. I just don't know how they would do it. What I could see them doing is through techs that no, here's what we're looking for. Techs that improve this, but to distinguish between Liberty ships that are transporting supplies and assault ships, you could do that, I guess, by having two versions. One transports that only transport like between ports if it's using if it's transporting units, or if it's transporting supplies or cargo, you know, for trading purposes, and then other transports for assaults. Maybe you could do that. I think it's a small thing. Small thing. Okay. This game should have engineering tanks like ARVs. Oh, well, IKB. Oh, let's, looky here. Not quite what you're saying, but they are sort of, this is obviously British versions of these things as opposed to doing it with the Sherman, but sort of going down Hobart's funnies a little bit. You can do that with this game already. It's not in the base game. I don't know if Black Ice has done it, but you can easily grab one of these type of variants here and just make a variant that is helps for engineering assaults kind of thing, equipment. So you can do that kind of stuff. Okay, and yes, I know, we gotta get things going. No, we're not in danger here, Alexandria, at least not from here. The Italians have actually moved their forces away. We've been holding El Alamein, but so we're good there. So we're gonna continue that. Continue here. Unless they are doing some naval invasions, and I got my strike force, and we're controlling this part of the Mediterranean well enough. Okay, I think we're sort of calm enough. We're going to... okay. I'm going to have you guys drive down this way. Okay, I'm seeing that. What I want to now start to do is come here. Oh, new mobile. Oh, 25. Oh, no. What support element can we add for 10? Reconnaissance? Signals? Reconnaissance? Nope, I'm going to wait till I earn more. And then we'll see about adding more stuff. Upgrade tanks and planes like they did with Naval. Yeah, well, there's, I'm sure, plans to improve things, but we do have the sort of... Okay, hey, Christmas Day! Germany decides to invade Belgium on Christmas Day. Okay, now we're going to switch to tasking. These guys are going to come from the English Channel and up over Benelux. And also go after bombers. And these guys are going to come over Benelux and go after ground targets. That's what they've been basically waiting for. And I think that's all the support we're going to give the Belgians. I have tried to come in and hold here and maybe get to Brussels and try to fight in Brussels and moved up to this sort of little bit. But no, I'll let the French do its stupid thing and try to move in there. But we're going to hold it. German interest in Scandinavia. Okay. Now, select all. Come up here. Come to Hull. Yeah, might as well be Hull. Now we're going to come over here, and this is another thing I really like. I like that entering and leaving the sea zone is here. So right now this is either friendly or not. Okay, once the Germans get both sides of this, we can no longer move anything through. But either friendly or neutral, we can move everything through, but if just one side, Denmark say, is controlled by the Germans, we can still move submarines in and out to continue our mining operations. Okay, Norway is now in the war, so we're going to send these guys to Bergen. Can't we send them to Bergen yet? What? Oh, they're still this click. I keep... When you have strategic... Okay, no. There we go. Yep. We're going to make it... Dash. Okay, let's... cancel that. No. Oh, let's go. Hopefully they'll get there. Risk a little bit of German. No. Oh, these are Norwegian. Okay. Yeah, okay. So we're actually doing okay. I was worried if they're going to be German. But we're going to send our army to Norway. Or part of our army up there. I actually sort of think we can hold Norway. And we have more production before we... Okay, we could use more infantry equipment. More light tanks. More... carrier naval bombers. Okay, well that's an important thing. Are we producing any? I don't know that we are. Wow. Okay, we're not carrier base. We got carrier base fighters in production. That's why we need more. The Shark. Okay. Carrier naval bombers. We'll up that. You think necessary to add the swastika on the German flag instead of the Iron Cross to be historical? Hello, Abraham Lincoln. Okay, I don't like the sort of no. This, and yes, it was actually a little bit more used in World War I. The flared out version of the Iron Cross a bit more here. I wouldn't use or the Iron Cross at all. I mean, it's not overly exaggerated. Bit more used in World War I for German vehicle markings and things. You can look at some of the like captured German, the tanks that they captured, some British Mark IVs or whatever, and they put that style Iron Cross in World War I. I would do the and you can see on my on the first page of my Third Reich events threads in either for Black Ice or for Hearts of Iron 4 on the forum, the flag that I use, and it is a historical flag. It's the red field centered white circle with the Balkan cross. The bar cross is what it, not Balkans, but Balkan, or however you want to say it. That was used primarily as a vehicle identification flag. That was never official. It was never official flag. I would use that flag. Because like I was saying, this getting too miniature, I start to see the Norwegian flag and get it confused. Yeah, I know the Norwegian is blue, but we can see here, especially like once it drops down to that size, and that you can see between, let's see if we can get, between this and this, there's not much difference. Yeah, I can see the difference when I concentrate on it, but just seeing it, it's a little confusing. So I would go to that style of flag. I have no problem, and I believe many non-Nazis use the mod to add the historical flag. So they're not just either Nazis or Nazi fanboys or whatever that want to do it. They just want it to historically correcting. There's still a lot of political stuff going on with Europe and everything, so I understand why they don't do it. So I would use the sort of vehicle identification flag as the flag for Germany. That's what I would do. As it's a compromise. It's a real historical flag. It is not an official flag. I think it was mostly used by Germans, officers, whoever, that weren't Nazis, but so they didn't want to put a swastika flag on their tank or whatever. Because you see most all of those flags, and I say they're the vehicle identification flags, you see that almost all of them have 4 grommets, one in each corner. So they weren't meant to be flown from a flagstaff. They're meant to be tied down in 4 positions, like on the back of a truck or a tank or whatever, to tell the aircraft, don't shoot at us. Now, 9 out of 10 or more photos that you see of flags used in that fashion are the swastika flag, and they're always the national flag. So they're not the sort of Wehrmacht or army flag. They're not what this is sort of a bastardized version being. They're just so however they get them. I don't know whether there's a supply sergeant issuing the standard swastika, or it's just guys just buying their own, going to the local flag store, and trust me, there were a lot of them in Germany, and buying a flag with their own money to just put on their vehicle to, say, aircraft don't bomb us. But there was enough that there were production runs. Oh, and they're also often the Balkan cross flag that I'm talking about. Most all of the modern examples period examples that we have, but that are in modern collections, not photographs, that we can look and see at, are all one-sided. So they only have the thing on one side, so it isn't. So if you flew it on the other side, it'd just be a red flag, which everyone would think you're a Soviet. So it's of limited use, but enough that they were produced in fairly large number. Pretty sure to change their laws about. Pretty sure German. No, well, it's complicated, and I'm not going to get into the German law now. Oh yeah, no, the Trojan is great. Trojan's a really cool vehicle. I like it. I wish they would have made a Trojan on a M1 Abrams hull. Just keep commonality with the rest of American vehicles, but have a Trojan-like thing for the Americans. But there's various reasons why we haven't done that, but it is a cool vehicle. we there yet? No, it looks like we're going to get there, though. With everything or most everything. Okay, so in my playthroughs, I haven't gotten much past the Fall of France, and so some of you playing on your own, playing more often and faster. So I've sort of played the start of this several times. May have seen, but I have seen the Germans actively invade. Okay, here comes the other division. Don't know why specifically they're late, but actively try to invade Norway. So we're going to, but normally after the Fall of France. So we're going to be here, ready to deal with any invasion. Of course, first hold the port, so if they show up, they can't resupply the forces that have landed. And yes, I do like to micromanage, and there are reasons I am. And yes, we may just be fully spread out along here ultimately, but if I have extra units, I'm going to concentrate on the cities. We're going to leave one up in Bergen. I'm going to put an extra one in Oslo. Let's see, they are cool. I'm sure someone has found some ways to use the excavator arm as a weapon in combat. Yeah. Yes, that is cool. I also like the idea that some of these units are acclimatized to cold. Some of the details they're really trying to do details with the game. I mean, we can talk about where they're failing, and I do talk about where they're failing, but like in the AI, but okay. Again, so now we have Belgium collapsing. Belgium has capitulated. Oh, and we're past the first. So, we're past the first, and we wasted a little bit of technology or research days. What was I going to maybe do first? Oh, I know. Spitfires. We have, don't we? Yes. Okay. Supermarine is our chosen. So now we're going to, with Supermarine, which will get us better air research speed, but also fighter agility and max speed will be up by 10% for what we do, and we'll also do a carrier fighter off that. So that'll be there in 100 days. And let's pause and come down here because we're dealing with. You go to Benghazi. Try to cut off their fuel or their supplies, generally speaking. Okay, yeah, you attack there. You attack there. You move up to occupy there. You guys push into there. And you can support the attack. Okay, again, here we have exiled division, escapes from Luxembourg. Now, of course, we now have this formation here. Before I start mouthing off about it, why am I not? Okay, here we are. Just need to click in the right spot. Okay, so this isn't so bad. This is presumably another locked division. So the Germans got something like about, I think it's about, oh, it was like 2,000 or something volunteers from Luxembourg. once they sort of occupied Luxembourg and incorporated it into the Reich, to join up with the Germans. So 2,000 men. Obviously, there weren't this many that made it out to England that joined up. But so this isn't a, any sort of uber force. It is locked. Oh, I guess we could convert it to the exiled Polish unit, which would expand it. But we're, even as it is, we're only at half strength for manpower, and we have no equipment. So, okay, that's interesting. Ideas improve the game and mechanics. Hello, Bizarra. Braza. I guess maybe that is. Tanks, aircraft, and division templates. Yeah. Hey, Evil 6, good to see you. So we've got this unit. We may convert it to the Polish or see what other templates. Obviously, we'll end up supplementing it with British manpower. So far we're holding here. All right. Hopefully allow some of these guys to withdraw out. Not get overrun because they're running into our well-organized, reasonably well-equipped divisions. And in some of my playthroughs, I've had the Germans being able to push into my units. In other playthroughs, they've gone around them. You go into Lille. They're getting a bit exhausted. We see another Polish unit over here. How interesting. Okay, now we're going to move these guys here and these guys now over to there. Keep trying to rotate up some better divisions so they don't exhaust us. Okay, yeah, they're coming up. The one that's better organized. Okay, so that's convinced them to go around there. Okay, oh, also let's move both of these to operate over France now, because we're no longer fighting over the... Hello, Cachillian. Good to have you here. Alright, Arno, no problem. Okay, so the German AI has figured out that they've stumbled into a wall of British good infantry divisions there. Okay, so we've also now got an exiled division from the Netherlands. We can see what this division looks like. Okay, so we got 17 submachine guns, basically, and 7,000 men out of a 9,000 man strength unit. So we may reorganize some of these units. Okay, let's look down here. Okay, yeah, you can come here. You guys look like you can, yeah, take the airport and get that. We'll get more for North Africa and other places once we fully crush our, or fully liberate, maybe we should say, Ethiopia. Though I don't know who's going to end up occupying this. And we've come and occupied the coast here. Let's see, yeah, you come to here. And I'm going to leave one back in Bergen just so I have both Bergen and Stavanger occupied, but to be able to evacuate out of if we end up really sort of losing. Wow, we've stalled out the German offensive. They're doing a counteroffensive, which I'm going to let them do. Okay, we got some Danish equipment. Denmark is capitulated. Okay, no, we're going to let these guys continue in here. What happened here? Oh, they lost a Danish convoy. I think we avoided battle with our mine-laying subs, just laying the mines everywhere. Mines, mines, mines. Ooh, big battle out here with the French. A little bit of us. Yeah, losing a carrier. The French had one carrier in World War II, I believe, only one. But yeah, could be wrong about the only one thing. I know they had one, but I don't know in this game right now. Well, maybe we will turn this into World War I. Who knows? Because if North Africa is holding, I mean, if we, you know, get Africa sort of sorted, maybe we move our forces from North Africa towards southern France, if France can hold there. I don't know. Okay, the burn, yeah. You know, who knew France had an aircraft carrier? It escapes to the Martinique, or one of those islands, Guadeloupe, and hangs out there through most of the war. Neutrality did not save Denmark. Iceland takes control of foreign affairs. So, yeah, they just, well, no, this was Italy, and they had some units down here, and we're going to see what happens. I'll just foreshadow it. If France falls, and right now we're doing an if, I presumed it would have been when, but maybe the Germans are going to shift forces that were up in Denmark down to deal with us here. A bunch of this turns over to... Oh, sorry about the TV. Sorry about that. If France falls, some of this will go over to Vichy, and Germany will then move forces down into Vichy-controlled territory. So Germany will. What kind of mod? No mod currently. This is just man the guns. Oh, you'll be... Oh, I sorry. Bizarra, once you get in there. Okay, kind of hard to explain. Also adding a alt history. That's optional. Well, glad that's optional, because, you know, I'm like playing historical stuff mostly. Yeah, well, part of it is what I've done here by holding the line, and now they've gone through the... There is a... pretty sure there used... France diplomacy. Okay, strengthen the government. See, extend the Maginot Line. So they've got through this now in enough time to extend the Maginot Line. So now we are fighting in a Maginot Line to the sea that is level 2 bunkers here versus the level 10 bunkers here. So it isn't a super fortress, but it is something. And here they've gotten some fortifications now, so maybe we have Fortress France. That would be an interesting one. I have not played Men of War Assault Squad. I know what the game is. I've watched some videos of it. Looks cool. Yeah, air superiority, we're doing pretty well. We don't have it over the channel right now because we re-switched some of our forces. Let's take a look there. Our current, we got some more hurricanes, but let's dump in and hurricanes will replace as needed. Up over here, and we'll go after fighters and bombers with these guys. Try to get superiority here too. And we have more. Okay, what do we need more of? Okay, infantry weapons. Well, we still have a lot though. That we still need more naval bombers, carrier-based naval bombers, and I want my carriers to be full. So we'll do that, and that means we also need more aluminum. So there we go. I think that's the best bet. Trade with the Americans. Okay, well, they're pushing on our tanks. You come down and rescue them. Yeah, we're gonna liberate the rest of that. Okay, well now we have some army experience. So we're going to come over here, edit, we're going to add in a new column, mobile groups, and we don't have enough. Why don't we have enough? Oh, we haven't picked which one. Motorized infantry. And add a second one. No, we don't have enough to add a second one, but we'll add that. So we'll save that. Trying to make a more balanced armored force. And good thing we now have that. Yep, hopefully Spain doesn't hop in. Build a massive battleship? Nah. Right now I'm experimenting with mine warfare. So, over here. Everything we're building are either mine layers. 5 factories or shipyards are currently repairing vessels. I also like this other new mechanic here, that instead of just sort of generically hey, yeah, ships get repaired after a while, it actually takes naval yards to repair vessels. So, which cuts down production. So either mine layers or some mine sweepers. So we're experimenting with this, and so we're overdoing it. But we want to see, what if we do this Uber sort of thing? Okay, well. Yeah, well, if you assume command, we're in trouble. They'll reinforce that once they get there, yeah. Yeah, now, well, let's make sure we have more carrier fighters. Oh, we have even more? Okay, Finland rejects Soviet demands, all right. Okay, you know, what would be nice? No, we haven't researched it yet. Okay. What would be nice would be Well, I'm going to start another production line that'll switch over to tank production, or medium tank production. Yep, the Winter War. See, the Soviets so far have grabbed up Lithuania, but not yet. Oh, Latvia, not yet Lithuania or Estonia. Sorry, gotta get that right. Okay, so we've sort of occupied all the coast but there. We've doubled up on there. Okay, that's all right. I'm happy with that. Winter War currently. They're not yet part of the Allies or the Axis. And they're fighting the Soviets, it looks like. Yeah, it is sort of a phony war. They have been pushing, probing, but... So this is the problem with the AI. Oh, Spain has sent in... So we may get Spain jumping in. Spain has sent in some volunteers to get some military experience. At least 2 divisions. Yeah. How interesting. Okay. The AI could really, like this province here, it could hit from 6, 4, and 5 divisions. Don't know where the rest of its army is. Some of it may be down here. No, this looks like all Italy down here. Oh no, there's a German unit. They've got to have more units somewhere. We're seeing a few up there. Maybe they're getting ready for Norway. Yeah, 3 and 1. That's probably getting ready for Norway invasion. I've not had this happen before to me in this new playthrough. Okay, so we have a division of Belgians. I want to just sort of see what that looks like. Okay, a little bit of equipment. And mostly filled out manpower. It looks like a reasonable size. Okay, and so this also has reconnaissance along with that. Along with our engineers. No, well, I got some tactical bombers that could strategic bomb. That can be, especially if you do it night bombing, can be useful against Germany at this stage if I had enough, but I really don't think I have enough. The Italians might break through some of these places. Okay, take that, occupy that. Polish exile leader. Okay, so we've got that. Yeah, we're upping that production line a little bit. Now, okay, we're spending a lot of civilian factories importing stuff. We're going to get some more naval production going. Maybe navally invade Italy. I don't know. Buff dockyards output, yeah. send some troops to North Africa to hold off the Italians. Well, I don't know how well the Italians are going to naval invade, and well, come on. Well, just one division here. Aiden Force, you go down there. You guys get to get on trains, which they didn't have trains back down there up to here. They did have trains some locally, but we're going to send you guys, just everybody up to there for the moment. That isn't occupying. Yeah, everybody meet up at Alexandria. What I'm sort of anticipating is somebody declaring war on Greece and or Yugoslavia, and maybe seeing about intervening there instead of trying to invade Italy on my own. Thinking that might be better. Some of them are walking. Maybe, are they? These guys are. Thank you for that. Yeah, I think all the rest maybe they're moving up. These guys should be walking into there. Okay, we're all full up on fuel right now. We're bringing in 11. We need 5. Okay. So, Soviet Union declare war on Finland. Okay. No, we're not going to get Finland in our faction because we don't want to have a war with the Soviet Union. So what we're going to do now is cut back on our oil by 11.5, and you know, it won't take much to pump it up, but let's go down to that. So now we're down to 9. So yeah, since we're fully all stored up, there's no point in doing any more right now. And we can let it go down for a while if we... you know, if we do a bit. So, okay, that's pretty close. I'm just figuring some ships or something or aircraft are going to start operating heavily again. War with Germany bypassed. Yes, we're at war with Germany. Embargo Germany bypassed. Military Training Act. Okay, good. Okay, good. That will give us a lot more manpower. That's what I was looking for. So, where were we here? Military fortified Malta. No, we're over here. Yeah. So once we got this, it bypassed these things. So, that removed the war to end all war. So we have a lot more manpower. That's what been worrying me. And so we will, well, we may expand the army and whatnot and use up that manpower, but now we're a little more free to do some of the other stuff. Okay, we're February 40. You know, just in case, let's do Malta. Maybe I shouldn't have done it so soon, because I need manpower to change our factory stance. Okay, now we have a Danish exile division. Okay, it's fait accompli. Okay, yes, okay, Mexican oil nationalized. Lazaro Cardenas has been stirring up populist nonsense aimed against our economic interest in Mexico. Now the Parti Revolutionaire Intersectional, has the PRI is what it is known as, had been for many years the only real party in Mexico that ever won any big national elections. Now it's no longer the case, but was for like 70 years or something. It was a long time. Ruling party in Mexico has passed legislation nationalizing the assets of Royal Dutch Shell, Standard Oil of California, and many other international oil firms. Although their constitution allows this action, international justice demands compensation for the losses suffered from the firms. The oil barons are demanding we act. And that's very much the case. Pemex is the corporation that is formed, Petroleum Mexico, or whatever Pemex exactly stands for, is still the government-owned sole oil producer and refiner in Mexico, as far as I understand. So it's still very much going to this day, and was why Mexico is partially why Mexico is such a freaking basket case, because they nationalized the oil and it has never been run well since. It is pretty badly run. Okay, so we're going to do the fait accompli, I think, instead of trying to piss everybody off. So we're going to do that, which is going to hurt my political power. So this will be amazing. Yeah, oh, how do you become one thinking and nuking me this time? We moderate. Oh, yeah. Well, how do you become one, anyways? Hang out and chat a lot. Chat with things and be a good person in chat. And after a while, because I want to watch people, you very well may get offered to be yes, General Sherman of your time. Well, as a military leader, I have much more fun, particularly for Stonewall Jackson, but also Lee and Jeb Stuart. Sherman, quite honestly, I don't like because of his march to the sea, particularly. But I do like Grant as a general and a person, though he was a terrible, terrible president. He wasn't corrupt, but until the Clinton administration, was probably the most corrupt administration in American history. It was politically very, very corrupt. Yeah, I know what you're saying about Germany, and I don't know what's going on here. They've got to have more divisions than what we're seeing. They just got to. Don't know if they're looking at Norway and invading that, and planning a big invasion or something. Okay, guys, you don't need to be stuck in the desert. You come to this port. Go to Benghazi. You guys join that army there. Okay. Don't think we need to occupy that, so we're going to come up here. I'm sort of getting ready to intervene in Greece or something like that. I think that's better than... because we have a force here, it's okay. I just don't know that if we push hard on Italy, it's going to work well. I don't know that the force is up to it. I think we can speed this up a little bit. Maybe reacting to Soviet and feeling... I don't think they're planning on going to war with them just yet. Can we see their current national focus? No, not Poland. Germany. Okay, Second Vienna Awards. They're working here. Now they're already in alliance with Italy. Maybe they're pushing towards alliance with Spain. I think they've got this one. Weserumbung. I always have trouble with that, sorry. No, obviously they're not going down any of those paths. War with the Soviet Union may be coming. Maybe. We'll see. It'd be stupid of them. Well, we were talking about American Civil War generals, I presumed, because Abraham Lincoln reference. Yeah, total war. I get that. I just, how do I put this? Throughout the Civil War, the South, for 99.9% of the time, tried to fight a very gentlemanly and honorable war against their brothers, the other Americans. It was not a war of hatred. Yes, way out in the West, you have Quantrell's Raiders and others out there, but there was a long history of partisan warfare going back to John Brown's time out in Kansas and other parts. You see that in the movie Jesse Wales. Clint Eastwood did a very good examination of that war, and that was very sort of brutal. But most all of the Southern War element was done, not waged against the civilian population, even when they invaded the North. Sure, they were foraging off the land when they were invading the North, and I'm thinking some of Stonewall's campaigns, but they weren't brutalizing or intentionally destroying things like people's homes that the Union would do. They destroyed all the plantations along the Mississippi River. I think all but one. And there's, for some reason, I forget why they left one there. But destroying the home itself, not just like, oh, we're destroying their economic capabilities. So I would say Sherman forgot who he was fighting. We can talk about Tippett, sorry. Yep. Have a good night. Thanks for everything. So, he forgot who he was fighting. His brothers. Yes, it was over slavery. Slavery was ugly. I'm in no way defending that. But we're still talking about your brother Americans. And so I am not happy with Sherman because of that. And yeah, no, I'm just not. And I'm not going to change. I have I have some of the is that or another I don't know if it's Ultimate General. I have some Civil War games. I should play them. Quite honestly, I've been reluctant to. Sort of controversial enough about with some of the history, and I have very mixed feelings over the Civil War, and in no way defending slavery, but I do defend people's attitudes at the time because that's what they understood. And so I'm not going to condemn them through modern eyes. And so this is, I'm very, very afraid that it will come off as insensitive, not as pro-slave, slave owning, but as insensitive to things. So I've been reluctant to play Civil War games. Looks like the Italians have taken a province that's fortified. Looks like they're going to push through here. They got 10 divisions. See, okay, now here's a good example. Okay, we're examining the AI, and that's partially because they have been tweaking stuff. Okay, here we have the AI attacking in here with, presumably there were 5 divisions or something, or I don't know, maybe yeah, there were probably 5 divisions originally or something. I don't know. There's 3 still attacking and 2 have stopped. When they could concentrate their force here, now there's maybe more defenses here, but they could strip away a few more divisions from other places and concentrate their forces. And concentration is the key here, not pushing along all the front. Well, here they've done it. They've got 10 regular infantry divisions, 2 mountain and a cavalry, and they're pushing on this other unit here to keep them from sending reinforcements to here, And they're pushing here, again, to keep sending reinforcement here. So it looks like they're going to break through and maybe change the stalemate here in the south. Yeah, that's what they need to do. Hello, Sarsfield. Had nothing to do with slavery game. Well, I'm not exactly sure what you're referring to. I know you're talking about the Civil War, but just exactly what references to why the war was fought. Yeah, there are definitely states' rights issues, and states' rights definitely have become code word, and this is again the sensitivity, code word for racism. And that's because it was sort of racist back in the 60s, particularly. But this, notice I said the 60s, the 1960s. That's over 50 years ago now. And the way America is, my belief is we've entered. Historians will look back at now and judge that America's already entered a second civil war. Now, it's not going to be, I don't think, the state of California, I'm in the wrong state, of course, but breaking away from the Union and fighting tank battle, California tank regiments, fighting, national tank regiments. I don't think it's going to be that, but I think it's going to be more than what we saw in the 1960s and early 70s with the Siboney's Revolutionary Army or whatever, the group that kidnaps Patty Hearst. The group Bill Ayers was involved in that were doing some bombings. I think we're going to see more bombings, snipings of police, because I would say some of the Black Lives Matter type attacks against some police officers that have killed some. I think, and we saw the attack, Steve Scalise being shot as well as others being shot at the baseball game, and just luckily that a couple of congressional people at the time had security details where most of them don't. So none of the congressional members get killed, but one is very seriously wounded. The Republicans attack, so we've already seen Democrats doing political violence, and the media is totally playing it down here in America. So we've already seen political violence against elected officials, tried to take out about a quarter, literally a quarter, of Republican elected officials in an assassination attempt that the media is completely whitewashing, and completely whitewashing that the person was a mainline Democratic volunteer. He had lunch a few times a week with the former mayor of that sort of town, still sort of known as the mayor because he's popular or whatever. So he was part of the mainline. Yeah, I'm not saying any of those people approved of the violence of the attack, but they've swept all that under the rug. So I do believe America has entered. It's not going to be like the last Civil War, but I think it's going to get pretty bad. Like the Arab Spring. Yeah, maybe the Arab Spring or what's happening in France, maybe a bit of the model of what's coming. Oh, cool, you're in Hungary. Cool. Well, I like to know where people are from. So, yeah, why people dislike. I really, really love one of you guys, if you ever do dislike anything, and then whether you're watching now, I'm going to be ending this episode here, now, not the live stream, so no one go away, but just the episode. Really love you guys. If you ever feel like disliking a video, go ahead and do it. It actually not that good for the video. Do it, but please just tell me why you disliked it. Sometimes I know I get political in some of the stuff, and I'll get, normally I get more likes than dislikes, but it goes, instead of saying, 90% plus liking videos versus disliking videos, it'll go higher. And I can sort of understand on those that I'm making political statements that they're disliking. But I really love to know why you dislike my video, because that'll help me. Maybe will change nothing in how I do things, but at least I understand why you disliked something. And so I would really love it if you guys, if you ever hit the dislike button, you feel the need to. And I understand if you do. I'd just like to know why. And then I'm all cool with it. Because I can be controversial. And on that note, we're going to end this episode. I want to thank you all for watching. Thanks for liking, or if you have to, dislike it. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And it'd be really cool if you hit one of those buttons and go on to one of my other episodes, at least watch a few minutes of it. Thank you so much. See you next time for more Hearts of Iron.